Hello and welcome to this session on generation and classification of computer. In this video, we will learn generations of computers, classification of computers, and mobile computing. Let's talk about the generation of computers at first. The history of computers is often referred to in reference to the different generations of computing devices. And these generations are divided into 5 generations till now. Let's talk about first generation. The first generation computers used vacuum tubes for circuitry and magnetic drums for the memory and were often big, taking up an entire room. First generations of computers relied on machine language to perform operations and they could not solve one problem at a time. Punched cards and paper tape were used as input devices and output was displayed on printouts. The UNIBAC and ENIAC computers are the examples of first generation computers. In the second generation, vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors and it was far superior to vacuum tubes, allowing computers to become smaller, faster, cheaper, more energy efficient and more reliable than their first generation predecessors. These were the first computers that stored their instruction in their memory, which moved from magnetic drum to magnetic core technology. Second generation computers moved from cryptic binary machine language to symbolic or assembly language. An early version of high-level languages such as COBOL and Fortran were also being developed on this generation. The development of integrated circuit was the hallmark of the third generation of computers. Transistors were miniaturized and placed on silicon chips, called semiconductors, which drastically increased the speed and efficiency of computers. Instead of punch cards and printout, users interacted with the third generation computers through keyboards and monitors and interfaced with an operating system which allowed the device to run many different applications at one time with a central program that monitored the memory. The microprocessor brought the fourth generation of computers as thousands of integrated circuits were built into a single silicon chip. The Intel 4004 chip developed in 1971 located all the components of the computer from the central processing unit and memory to input-output controls on a single chip. Microprocessors also moved out of the realm of desktop computers and into many areas of life as more and more everyday products began to use microprocessors. As these small computers became more powerful, they could be linked together to form networks, which eventually led to the development of the internet. Fourth generation computers also saw the development of GUIs, the mouse, and handheld devices. Computers devices based on artificial intelligence are still in development, though there are some applications such as voice recognition that are being used today. The use of parallel processing and superconductors is helping to make AI a reality. The goal of fifth generation computing is to develop devices that respond to natural language input and are capable of learning and self-organizing. Now let's talk about the classification of computers. On the basis of size, computers can be divided into 4 major groups, and they are microcomputers, mini-computers, mainframe computers, and supercomputers. Microcomputers. Microcomputers are small, low-cost, and single-user digital computers. They consist of CPU, input unit, output unit, storage unit, and the software. Although microcomputers are standalone machines, they can be connected together to create a network of computers that can serve more than one user. Microcomputers include desktop computer, notebook computers or laptop, tablet computers, smartphones, and other handheld devices. Mini-computers. Mini-computers are digital computers generally used in multi-user systems as they have high processing speed and storage capacity than the microcomputers. Mini-computers can support 4 to 200 users simultaneously. The users can access the mini-computers through their PCs and terminals. They are used for real applications in industries, research centers, and etc. PDP-11 IBM 8000 series are some of the used mini computers. Mainframe computers. Mainframe computers are multi-user, multi-programming, and high-performance computers. They operate at a very high speed, have very large storage capacity, and can handle the workload of many users. The user accesses the mainframe computer by a terminal, that may be a dumb terminal, an intelligent terminal, or a PC. Mainframe computers are used in organizations like banks or companies, where many people require frequent access to the same data. Some examples of mainframe computers are CDC 6600 and IBM ES000 series. Supercomputers. Supercomputers are the fastest and the most expensive machines. They have high processing speed compared to other computers. The speed of a supercomputer is generally measured in flops, floating point operations per second. Some of the fastest supercomputers can perform trillions of calculations per second. Supercomputers are built by interconnecting thousands of processors that can work in parallel. They are generally used for high calculation-intensive tasks such as weather forecasting, climate research, molecular research, biological research, nuclear research, and aircraft design. Some of the examples of supercomputers are IBM Roadrunner, IBM Blue Gene, and Intel ASCI Red Param series. On the basis of working principle, computers can be divided into three types, and they are analog computers, digital computers, and hybrid computers. Analog computers. The analog computers operate by measuring rather than counting. It measures continually, usually of physical nature data such as lengths, voltages, or currents. It does not produce numbers but produces its result in the form of graphs. Analog machines are usually special purpose devices dedicated to a single task. Some of the examples are speedometer, resistance of capacitor, frequency of signal, and voltages, etc. Digital computers. Digital computers operate on input which are on-off type, that is 1 and 0. And its outputs are also in the form of on-off signals. Any data to be manipulated by a digital computer must first be converted to a discrete, that is 1-0 representation. Digital describes electronic technology that generates, stores, and processes data in terms of two states, positive and non-positive. Positive is expressed or represented by the number 1 and non-positive by the number 0. Thus, data transmitted or stored with digital technology is expressed as a string of zeros and ones, and each of these state digits is referred to as a bit. The main advantages of digital computers is that they are more accurate than analog computers. Examples: desktop, laptop, smartphone, etc. Hybrid computers. Hybrid computer is a combination of both analog and digital computer. That is, a part of processing is done on analog computer and a part on digital computer. A hybrid computer combines the best characteristics of both analog and digital computers. It can accept input data in both analog and digital form. It is used for simulation applications. Some of the examples are electrocardiogram machine, echocardiogram machine, ultrasound machine, CT scan machine, Holter monitoring. On the basis of brand, the computers can be classified as IBM PC, IBM compatibles, and Apple Macintosh computer. IBM PC. IBM PC is the largest computer manufacturing company established in the USA. The IBM PCs are reliable, durable, and have better quality, but they are costly. IBM compatibles. The computers that have some functional characteristics and principles of IBM computers are called IBM compatibles. All computer manufacturers other than IBM are known as IBM compatibles. These are cheaper and their parts are easily available in the market. Apple Macintosh computer. All the computers manufactured by Apple Corporation, leading computer manufacturer of the USA, are known as Apple or Macintosh computers. These computers have their own software and hardware. Mobile computing. Mobile computing is a form of human-computer interaction by which a computer is experienced to be transported during normal usage. Mobile computing has three aspects: mobile communication, mobile hardware, and mobile software. The first aspect addresses communications issues in ad hoc and infrastructure networks, as well as communication properties, protocols, data formats, and concrete technologies. The second aspect is on the hardware. Example, mobile devices or device components. The third aspect deals with the characteristics and requirements of mobile applications. So this brings us to the end of this session. Now let's summarize what we have discussed today. The history of computer development is often referred to in reference to the different generations of computers. On the basis of size, computers can be classified into four types, and they are microcomputers, mini-computers, mainframe computers, and supercomputers. On the basis of working principle, computers can be classified into three types, and they are digital computers, analog computers, and hybrid computers. Three main aspects of mobile computing are mobile communication, mobile hardware, and mobile software. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you for your time, and we will see you in our next session.